Cheryl had her chair, her computer, and her med cart. Everyone in the ICU knew this, even the physicians, who wouldn't dare sit in Cheryl's chair and use her computer if she was in sight. Well, one night, Liz, one of the newer nurses, sat in Cheryl's chair to document on her patient on Cheryl's computer. One of the techs warned her, "You better not let Cheryl see you sitting in her chair," but Liz ignored him. 5 minutes later, Cheryl walked up to Liz and said, "You're sitting in my chair. You need to get up." Liz replied, "I'm just putting a quick note on my patient. The other computer isn't working." Cheryl raised her voice ever so slightly and said, "I said you're sitting in my chair and you need to get up right now." Liz replied, "Just give me 30 more seconds." Cheryl threw a cup of water at Liz. In this episode of Coffee and Conversations about Nurse Bullying, I'll share a few simple strategies to deal with the territorial nurse. I'm Dr. Renee Thompson, the CEO of the Healthy Workforce Institute. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations about Nurse Bullying. In today's episode, we're going to talk about territorial nurses. You know, some people are extremely territorial at work. I've frequently heard stories like the one with Cheryl from other healthcare leaders, nurses, physicians, and support staff about how one of their coworkers marks their territory, be it a piece of equipment, a chair, or a particular area within the department. And I think we can all recall someone in our workspace who exhibits territorial tendencies. Hopefully not as extreme as Cheryl's example. However, when we examine the issue of territorialism at work, it's actually kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Well, why then are some people so territorial? I mean, we shouldn't all have to have a psychiatry degree in order to work with people, but it certainly helps to understand human behavior just a bit. So here are maybe 2 reasons why someone is so territorial. Think about protection and control. People who mark their territory do so as a protective mechanism. By being territorial, it gives them a sense of control or sometimes even a perceived power over other people. These territorial behaviors may stem from either an inner insecurity or maybe an experience where they didn't have control in their past. Also, think about the environments we work in, the life and death situations, the unpredictability of our healthcare environments. We experience more stress in healthcare than in any other industry. And by controlling which computer and chair they use, they're in a sense decreasing the stress of that unpredictability. However, it's still not okay. Hoarding linens and equipment is not the best coping mechanism. And then the second reason is sometimes people are just hyper myopic. People are only focusing on what's best for them. They come into work with the goal of making their work as easy as possible for them. So they hoard equipment, people, and other things because doing so is what's best for them. So how do we deal with a territorial coworker? Should you ask the territorial nurse to show you a receipt for her computer? Or tell her that the organization owns the equipment, not her? Or maybe even say, "What voodoo ritual did you perform that magically made this computer yours?" Although tempting, these responses don't necessarily address the issue, and they actually close the door to any conversation. A better response would be to put your curiosity hat on. Curiosity is king. When you approach a situation with curiosity, you're opening the door for conversation and addressing the territorial behavior in a more professional manner. Say this to someone who is marking their territory. "When you say, 'This is my computer,' I'm curious why you think this computer right here is yours." Or you can say, "Help me to understand why you actually place tape on the floor to identify an area you're claiming is yours. I'm not sure I fully understand this." Or you can also say, "I'm curious why you think it's acceptable to change assignments so that you can take care of Dr. Rossi's patients." By putting your curiosity hat on, you're responding in a way that decreases defensiveness, maybe just a little bit, and it also forces them to defend their territorial ways. You're, in a sense, shining a light on the behavior in a way by naming it, a technique that I've shared in other Coffee and Conversations videos. Never forget, though, these behaviors hurt the team. It's hurting workflow, which ultimately hurts the team. It's hurting relationships, which ultimately hurts the team. And everything we do as a team impacts patients. A patient who is somebody's mom, dad, husband, wife, son, daughter, or grandchild, bestie, or even aunt. So when I asked, what happened to Cheryl for throwing a cup of water in that nurse's face because she didn't get out of her chair, the two nurses that shared that story with me looked up at me like I was speaking a foreign language. Did she get fired, I asked. Of course not, they said. Everybody knows not to sit in Cheryl's chair. Come on, nurses, we need to do a better job. All right, are there any tactics that you use to deal with the territorial nurse? If so, please post them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and share it with others. And if you really want to go down the rabbit hole of workplace bullying and incivility, go to my website, www.healthyworkforceinstitute.com, for more resources. So until our next conversation, be kind, take care, and stay connected.